So Fiddler on the Roof opens in Antevka, a small Jewish community in Tsarist Russia in 1905, and we meet Tevye the milkman, who has 5 daughters. His oldest daughter, Zeitel, is in love with Model the tailor, but has just been engaged to Laser Wolf the butcher. She begs her father to break off the engagement because she wants to be with the man that she loves, which is kind of unheard of. This is a town where you are put with someone by the matchmaker. And he is torn between his faith and the traditions of the town and the love for his daughter, and ultimately kind of caves and for his daughter and allows them to be married. Meanwhile, Tevye has taken in Perchik, who's kind of a radical young, very anti the man radical who is against traditions that go against logic and that go against free will. And Huddle, the second daughter, is falling in love with him. At Zeitel's wedding, the Russian constable comes in and they destroy the reception, and there's a near pogrom in the entire village, and it's kind of a symbol of what is to come and just a reminder to, keep your heads down. Perchik proposes to Huddle. She says yes. They ask for Tevye's blessing, but not his permission, because they're going to get married no matter what. And he ultimately caves on that too. And once again, he's trying to balance his faith in this ever-changing world, but loves his daughter, so kind of goes that route. Perchik goes to Kiev to join the revolution, is arrested, exiled to Siberia, so Huddle follows him there. Daughter number 3, Hava, falls in love with a Christian. Tevye cannot bend on this. He says, if I bend on this, I will break, and claims her dead to the family. Meanwhile, the constable comes back and says that everyone has to leave Antevka. The entire village, they have to pick up and leave everything that they know. Hava comes back to say goodbye after having married in secret, and Tevye won't talk to her. But when Zeitel says goodbye to her sister, Tevye says, and God be with you, and kind of, he can't accept them fully as a couple, but can kind of give him the only thing that he has left now after everything else has been taken away, and that's his faith. As they're leaving, the fiddler, the town fiddler, starts following Tevye, and he beckons him along, and it's kind of this is what I will take with me, this tradition and music and my faith, but I have to leave everything else behind. So that's how it ends. So that is the summary. In terms of the themes, Tevye has to balance his love for his daughters with the Jewish tradition. He compromises with Huddle and Zeitel, but ultimately can't reconcile with Hava marrying outside the faith. He also has to balance his anger at the treatment of his people versus his trust that God has a plan. There are moments where he kind of just looks up and asks why to God, but then has to reconcile with how can he call his daughter dead for marrying one of them and still feel victimized. And so he finally gives her a tentative blessing. Lastly, he has to cling to the past versus moving forward. And in the final scene, he allows the fiddler to follow him and kind of, says he'll face the future, but he won't leave his faith behind. So those are the 3 main balancing acts that Tevye has to face. And that is all for me, Fiddler on the Roof. Good show.